Would you like to live your best life possible, regardless of your imperfections? Discover cutting-edge tools and inspiration to let go of your limitations and expand your life beyond what you've ever imagined. On Imperfect Brilliance, we help you tap into your unique gifts and talents, uncovering and letting your brilliance shine. Join certified facilitator and coach Betsy McLaughlin as she delves into different areas of your life to get unstuck and create the life that is truly possible for you. Betsy has changed her life by utilizing the tools and techniques she is sharing with you. What if your willingness to acknowledge your brilliance is the catalyst to creating a new reality? When you stop judging you, what else can you create in your life and in the world? Join Betsy live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern to create magical and joyous possibilities for an hour of laughs, questions, tips, and more. We are excited to contribute and play with you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Imperfect Brilliance. I am Betsy McLaughlin, your host for this hour, and I am really excited to have on the show today Vladica, and I'm going to ask you to pronounce your last name so I don't totally mess it up.
Yes, Vladica is my first name, and my surname is Djordevic.
Thank you. And she is on today. We're talking about the power of choice. And we talk a lot about choice on this show. And today's conversation will be about Vladica's personal story. And it, as with anything, choice can be simple. We can make choice complicated. We cannot do anything, which that is a choice as well. And she's here today to share her story. She has created such an amazing book from her life so far. Her life is certainly anything, far from over, but she has written a book called You Are the Power. Choose to create the life you desire. And she, in the story, which we will certainly go into a little bit today, it really does talk about how she has chosen joy, humor, and tools, and in such an eloquent way, where she has overcome some really deep, dark despair. And I am truly honored to have you on the show today. And just a little bit about Vladica. She is an international speaker and facilitator, and she helps people step into their power and potency and create more ease and joy in their lives. And like I said, the book is called You Are the Power, Choose to Create the Life You Desire. And she's going to share her journey from despair to light and finding her way out of the darkness. So welcome to the show today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're so very welcome. And the book has a beautiful picture of you on the cover with a beautiful smile. And I'm not sure where you would like to start. I guess we'll start with what inspired you to actually write your story?
Well, from the beginning, I didn't wrote this story to be a book for the world. I wrote this story to heal my wounds. As I experienced the tragedy that I don't wish anyone to experience, to have my son murdered, it was a couple of years of finding or really healing the past and healing the future and healing the now. So I wrote, when I was in a class or after doing a 7-day, I went to Costa Rica a couple of times with Access Consciousness. And after a class, I wrote. And then one day, one of my friends, she is a professor at the university, and she's actually the inspiration for this book. She was like, Vladi, can I read that material that you are writing? And at that time, I think I had like 70 pages. And I was like, I don't know if I want to show anyone that. It was from such deep emotions and vulnerability that it was only for me. But anyhow, I handed over the material to her, and when she was reading it, she was so touched, and she said, hey, I think you should share this with the world, because this is for everyone, and this is such a contribution and a kindness if you can do that, if you can step into that potency and vulnerability and share it with the world. I mean, what change will that be for people? So this is how it started.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, because it really is a very deeply personal story,
yes.
and to go from the depths of recovering from having your son murdered to where you are now. And I know you will share quite a bit with us today about this journey for yourself. Where writing the book, I'm sure, like you said, it wasn't anything that you started out to do as writing a book. And could you talk a little bit about how writing, actually putting in, pen to paper or, keypad to computer, how writing contributed to you healing?
It's actually, this is something that I recommend people in my classes. If you have an emotion, write it down or get it out or sing it out or talk it out, and then listen to it or hear it. Because if you read what you wrote, in that way, you will be able to see your life from a totally different perspective. Yeah. And I mean, I would like to say, I was very lucky, if I can put it in that way, because I have a lot of amazing people around me, people who taught me what it means to be empowered and to empower. And that gave me the strength to not only write, but also to heal my body.
Can you explain that a little bit more? What you mean by feeling your body?
By healing my body.
Oh, I thought you said healing. I'm sorry.
No. I said healing my body.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. So, we all walk around with a lot of memories in our body, and we all walk around with our history and our story. And what we do, we keep repeating the story. So as the story is here right now and so true. But that's actually not true. What I realized is that life never stops. Life is moving all the time, and if I keep repeating the same story that happened to me in the past, in a way, I am inviting the same emotion into my life every day. Or if I choose something different, like really, I just want to, I don't know how to express this, but to really inspire people to know that we do have choice. We have choice in what and how we are setting the tone for the day, and what invitation we go out with out there in the world, and that is actually creating the energy for the possibilities to show up in our life. So for me, it was a huge wake-up call and I write about that in the book, as many people maybe don't know, but I have been working as an access consciousness facilitator for 9 years now, and I facilitate classes all over the world, including body classes. Anyhow, I was lucky that access came into my life just a year before this tragedy. And when this happened, I sent a message to Dr. Dane here, and he responded to me that you have a choice to kill yourself and be the effect of this situation, or you can start living. And when you get a message like that, I mean, it is very difficult to understand when we live in a reality where people almost empower suffering in a way, and you get a message in a situation like this that, hey, you really have a choice here. What are you going to do with this? And for a while, I couldn't get that, and I was a little bit angry. And but now I'm so grateful, because this empowered me to make a difference and to really be a difference in the world, where I can show people that, hey, we do have a choice in every second of our life. Yeah.
Wow. And it's such a beautiful thing. I remember at different points, when after my father died, of thinking, that everybody around me was going on their normal life, and I remember thinking, how can they be laughing and joking when my father just died?
Yeah.
Really, then I came to realize, well, life really truly does continue. It does go on. And the best thing, the greatest gift you can give yourself and your loved ones, because they don't desire, I don't think that they desire for you to stop living, and because they're no longer with us in a physical body. And there's a piece in the book I'd love to quote, if that's okay.
Yes.
And it says, death can never be the end. Death is the path, and life is a traveler. Soul is a guide. When a traveler is tired and exhausted, the guide gives instructions for short or long rest, and then the journey begins again. Our mind thinks of death, our heart thinks of life, and it's light above us. And I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, that is absolutely amazing.
Yes. Yes, totally. And this is how it is. Our heart is always willing to receive more light and more joy. And our mind is calculating. Our mind is, yes.
Story.
And our mind is looking after, okay, so what can I get out from this? Instead of, what contribution can this be to the world? So really, but what I'm saying is, I don't say that this is easy. I don't say, hey, your loved one dies, start laughing right now. No, this is not what I'm saying, because I was crying for 2 years, maybe nonstop. And I was angry, and I was frustrated, and I thought life was unfair, and why did this happen to me? But there is no why. Absolutely no why. There is much more about, okay, so what can I choose now? What can I be now? And really look at what is possible for us now. For me, this tragedy changed my life totally, and I really mean totally, in a way that I never ever thought it was possible. When I look in my past sometimes, I'm like, God, how ridiculous to get angry for stupid things and hold on to that anger and keep it in our bodies and in our energy. And when you get together with other people, you are actually intoxicating other people with your anger. So what is the point of all of that? Instead of looking at every situation, and as I say in the book, like, ask a question here. What's required here to change this? And what do I want to achieve with my behavior? Because to go back to my story, every time we repeat and talk about our story, what we actually create a pattern. And this becomes our behavior. And from this behavior, that is the only way that we know reality. And what I would like to inspire the listeners with is that there are so many different realities.
Yes. 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 And in every, and I love that you did bring in the piece too about, that this has not been easy, and you did go through a lot of different emotions. So you're not coming on here and saying, that the day after you were fine. No, but you are at the place where you made a choice to lead your life, and I know that you continue to make choices every single day. And yes. I think we're getting ready to go to our first break, but when we come back, I would love to dive into some of these questions and choices that you're making. So stay tuned for a very special show today on You Are the Power. Choose to create the life you desire. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research, and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers, and researchers, pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I liked kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm going to return the kayak.
Can we walk home?
How about a taxi?
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Thank you all for listening today. I have Vladica here with me, and before we come back to more discussion on the book, I would like for you to tell everybody where they can find this amazing book, You Are the Power, Choose to Create the Life You Desire.
Okay, so there is a website called youarethepower.com. And they can also find me on accessconsciousnesshop.com. And they can also find the book on Amazon, You Are the Power. And they can find the book on my website, www.vladicadjordevic.com.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to spell her name for you. VladicadJordjevic.com.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. For Miss American Girl over here, I would have no idea how to spell your name. So
no worries. It is the same. It is the same in Europe. They don't know how to spell my name or pronounce it.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, you also have a daughter. So how has everything that you've chosen and the life that you're creating now, how has that been for your daughter?
Well, my daughter lives in New York, and she is a very successful businesswoman, and she's very amazing. And well, I would like to be honest with it. For her, it was harder than for me to just let go and choose something different. So in the beginning, it was, I think she went on with this sadness and loss in her system for a long time. I'm so lucky because as a facilitator and working with people all around the world, I am confronted with the emotions of sadness and pain and suffering all the time. And whenever I facilitate someone to change something, I actually help myself. So
that's so true.
Yeah. So, and as I said, my daughter, she's in the business, in the corporate world, and and she lives from this reality and how but she's very inspired, and sometimes she's choosing to join me for some classes, and we are a huge contribution to each other, and we empower each other in everything. Yes.
I'm sure you are. And, what a gift that you both are for each other in, each other's lives. And I'm sure that it was such an amazing lifeline for both of you to have each other.
Yes. And and I write about that also in the book, because when the tragedy happened, at that time she lived in Los Angeles. She was studying there, and I was afraid that the news will reach her through social media. So,
oh wow,
yeah, because this is how it is today. I mean, it's faster out there than it comes to our knowing.
Right.
Yeah, but as I said, we are there for each other. We have a great relationship, and I'm really grateful for her. Yeah.
Wonderful. And so what were some of and I know there's a lot of questions and there's a lot of tools and things that we can talk about, and I would love to hear, a couple of the questions or the things that you started asking and creating for yourself that helped to pull you out of the darkness.
So, first of all, I was actually looking to keep myself busy and to create. But it's very easy to spend a lot of time with people around you that are in the same situation as you, or they are feeling sorry for you, or they want to, because people that love you, of course, they will do it. But for me, I made a different choice. I made the choice to look at and spend time with people who could inspire me and who had a level of curiosity for creation. So I actually started to ask questions with everything that I have and with all the education and all my experience. Where is my energy needed? Where is my contribution required? And what contribution can I be to the world? And what contribution is the world to me? So this was the constant questions that I asked. I love to walk, so I spend a lot of time in nature, and I walked every day for 1 hour. And walking and asking those kind of questions, it opened up a space for me where I became very creative, if I can put it so. And every time when I came back from my walk, and I have been asking those questions maybe 30 times, 40 times, what does consciousness require of me? Because if I experience a situation like this, it must be for something greater, that consciousness is asking something for me. And this is what I also talk about in my classes, that each one of us is a gift here. We have something to bring to the earth. So our job is to find out what is it. And this is what I asked for myself. And then every time I came home from my walks, I took a piece of paper and I wrote it down. And I was like, okay, so consciousness is asking me to facilitate classes. All right, so where can I create success? Where is that country that would love to hear and receive the tools and the gift that I can be? Because when people come to us, if we are speakers or if we are facilitators or coaches or whatever we work with, they come for a reason, and they come because especially you have something that they can get or receive from you. So this is how it started, and I brought Access Consciousness to Croatia, and then I never stopped. I never stopped, honestly, and I never stopped. My creativity is becoming just more and more exuberant, and I have this desire of life and living, and I'm writing on my second book, and yeah, so there is a lot of stuff going on for me. Yes.
Awesome. And you talk a little bit in the book about how some people criticized you, and like how could you laugh because your son is dead, and how could you go on living because your son is dead? And then you also inspired others. So you've talked a little bit about, inspiring yourself and inspiring others. And what did you do? How did you overcome, however you'd like to ask that question, about the judgments and the criticisms that you have faced and are aware of?
Well, it was not easy, honestly, because we all love our friends. And for me, that was an inner work that I had to do to let go of people that are not supporting my choices. So it was not that I was overcoming it overnight. It was something that I actually really worked on consciously. And I was willing to look at, okay, so is this person a contribution to what I am creating here? And if not, what is the value for me holding on to people that are judging me? Because we have all created relationships from a certain level of judgments, I would like to say. We have similarities going on, and we are used to have a certain behavior, and they actually know which buttons to push. And when you change so much, of course, that activates a lot of stuff in people's world, because you are not the same person as they knew before. And what did I have in common with many of my friends? Well, we had family, we were talking about vacations, we were talking about other people and what they do, and, stories, stories, and stories. And suddenly I changed, and I changed to that level that nobody actually recognized me, because I was not so much vested anymore into,
right.
what happened to Mary. Did she divorce her husband, or poor her? But I was more like, okay, so what choice does she have now? And we are all creators. And so yeah, it took me a while to get over that and to be willing to let go. And when you are willing to let go of the past, so much amazing, you are opening up a space for so much amazing people to show up in your life that are actually supporting and empowering and creating. And so it's more about the choice in which reality would you like to live? In the one that you talk about pain and suffering, or in the one where you create, where there is an exuberance and where you thrive. And it's not about surviving anymore.
That is so beautifully said. Thank you so much for that. And that's a brilliant example of choice. And you could choose to stay in the same pattern over and over again. And you looked at it and said, you know what, this does not really work for me anymore. And I'm going to choose something different. And you started choosing it. And then it opened, the pathway for, as you said, more people, more possibilities, more just different experiences and different things than what you had experienced in your past. And it doesn't make anything that you did and anything that anyone else did wrong. It's that you're choosing something different now.
Yes. Yes.
And that's, that brings me kind of to the question of, is there any choice that is wrong?
Well, I would like to say no. I would never forget my first class that I did, Access Consciousness, where it says choice creates awareness. And I have to sign on that. It is really choice creates awareness. And nothing is wrong. There is no wrong choice. It is just choice. And if you be kind to yourself and acknowledge, okay, so I choose this, and this actually didn't work so good. Now, what can I choose now? What else is possible for me in this moment? Yes.
I love it. When you're choosing and asking that question, and then you just keep asking, you keep going, and you don't make yourself wrong for anything. And in that space of not making yourself wrong for anything, it keeps you out of exactly what we were talking about a little earlier, which is it keeps you out of repeating the same patterns that you have been repeating.
Yes, and even if you repeat an old pattern, you will become aware that, oh, wow, I repeated this again. But what will happen is that emotion that used to be a density or a judgment or a complication is different. It's lighter and it's different. And like for me, what is happening now, in a moment I can become aware, oh wow, I almost choose the same thing as 5 years ago, but I'm not attached to it in the same way. And I am so aware of it and I can change it immediately.
Wow.
Yeah. And I really want to empower all the listeners here to have a belief that you are the creator and you are the source of your strength. And really, your choice is your choice, and it can create a completely different future for you if you become aware of your choices and not judge yourself.
So if you can become aware of your choices and not judge yourself, and talk about a beautiful gift to gift yourself.
Yes.
No, to not judge yourself. No matter what you've chosen, no matter what you've done, to not judge yourself is so freeing, isn't it?
Yes, totally. It's like, okay, yeah, this is what I could, that's the choice I made, and now I know that there are so many possibilities and I can choose something different. If you function from that ease, then you will have a totally different relationship to your body and to the people in your life and to everything, actually, to life itself. Really, to life itself.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I would like to read this really quickly before we take our second break here. And it talks about joy and says, what do I know about joy? Who am I to talk about joy? Whoops. I'll finish that when we come back, talking about joy. Stay tuned, guys.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Hello, I'm Lisa Berry. Join me every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Light on Living, a chance to see new, hear different, and feel more as I shine the spotlight on all the ways to lighten the load of life's challenges. Light on Living is your link to that new way you're looking for, that new understanding that will enhance your life, and that positive connection that will support your growth. So join me, and you'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
We are with Vladica today talking about her newly released book, You Are the Power, Choose to Create the Life You Desire. And I started to read, I didn't watch the time closely enough, started to read a little bit that she had written about joy. Well, I said, how can she talk about joy? Basically, I know both sides well. What is joy? What does it mean for you? Joy is a sense of peace. Do you have a sense of peace? Joy is the source of life. Do you allow yourself to feel joy in your body? And I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit more about feeling joy in your body.
Well, from the beginning, I believed that joy is laughing, laughing all the time. And the more I work with bodies and the more I get in connection with my own body, I can't put it as a definition, but when I wrote A Sense of Peace, It is when you have that, when you can I put it like feel the blood flow in your body? I would like to say that is like a sense of joy when you really, you can feel that you are alive, totally alive. That is joy for me, where you are being totally present in the moment, and there is no thought about the past or the future. Just now, in this moment. I have an exercise that I do with people in my classes, and the exercise is that I ask them to feel unhappy right now. And then, yeah, exactly, like you are doing now. Everybody starts to laugh because if I force you to be unhappy right now in this moment, be unhappy, it's actually almost impossible. Because if you don't start to think and use your mind about what has happened that you are not satisfied with, or everything that you don't have in your future, it's impossible to feel unhappy. Then, when you are totally present, the only thing there is, it is the space, that sense of peace.
Wow. Oh, excuse me. I have a little frog in my throat for a second here. Total peace. And, when you are feeling that total peace with your body, what does that create for your life?
Wow. So when you asked me the question, it was just, wow. Wow. That is opening up like millions of possibilities.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I wonder if you would be willing to share maybe a couple of other questions that you ask on, like, I don't know if a daily basis or, things, but questions that have really contributed to you.
Well, I don't know if people know that I am, but maybe I said it, as an access consciousness facilitator, I talk about asking questions that will create more choice, more possibilities, and from that energy, you will be able to get a sense of what contribution you can be for you and on planet Earth. So questions that I ask is, what energy, space, and consciousness and choice can me and my body be to be greater than yesterday? What energy, space, and choice can me and my body be to inspire the world today? And what energy, space, and consciousness can me and my body be to know that I am? I like that question. And that I be. Yes. And to know me. So this is the kind of... Yeah, and to know me, because this is the kind of questions I asked a lot. I actually asked a lot about what are my capacities? What is possible for me that I never considered? And I think I asked that in classes a lot of time. I would like to know my capacities. What are my capacities? What is my gift? And how can I use my capacities? And what is it that I know about consciousness, about possibilities that actually no one else knows? I love that question too, because it always brings you back to you. And I would like all of you to know that all of you know something. All of you have something to bring to this planet. And if you really, really connect with that and find what that is for you, you will be totally amazed about what is opening up in your life.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that is so true because, we so many times we tend to go look at others and go outside of ourselves for that somehow others know and we don't. So could you talk about that a little bit?
Well, it actually came a lot from, I was working as a business coach for a big company for a couple of years. And one of my first questions to people was, so who is the most important person in your life and what is the most important thing in your life? And funny enough, maybe 7 or 8 people from 10, everybody said, it's my wife, my husband, my children, my dog, my car, and nobody was in contact with their own knowing about what was vital for them. So, which means that many people are totally disconnected from their own knowing. People are disconnected from their desires, from what they want to create. And this is the problem when many people come to classes. They ask for money, they ask for a lot of stuff. But if you don't have clarity with what is vital for you, if money was not the problem, if nothing was the problem in your life, what would you be and where would you live and how would your life look like? And like, for example, I facilitated a class last week and there was a couple in the class. And I asked him, so if money was not the problem, where would you be? And he said, I would be on an island. And I said, excuse me, so you are actually not, you are not happy to be with your family? And he said, no, I would be on an island. So when you ask a spontaneous question like that, people come to contact with their own desires. And you have to know you. This is why you are here. Find you and your knowing and what's true for you, and then actually life begins. Because if you find you and what's true for you, then you are not the effect of what other people choose anymore. And for me, this was like the biggest tragedy, because before I was always looking at what does my mother require, what does my father require, my children, my husband, and I was never looking what is actually true for me. And it doesn't mean that you are becoming egoistic. No, you are actually putting fuel of energy into your own body, which means that you will have more for you and more for everyone else.
Yes. So the more that you fuel yourself, the more fuel you have for others. And especially, I'm a mother, and so I used to think that I just had to give and give and give and give, and I wasn't giving anything to myself, and I was depleted, right? So, and then now I've certainly learned a lot since those early days when I just depleted myself left and right, and realizing exactly what you just said, that when you nurture yourself, when you take care of yourself, it truly is nurturing for everyone else as well.
Yes.
And that's not something that I learned growing up. Did you?
No, I didn't learn that either. I was told to be a good girl and take care of everybody else. Yeah.
And so, we're now learning that taking care of yourself is such an important piece to taking care of others. Yes, totally. Because, others will get inspired. You inspire people by your choices. And when you inspire people by your choices, this is true leadership, which means that everybody is a leader. And everybody
And this is what brings us then together, and we can create more together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, in our last few minutes together today, what, like your life is certainly very different than probably anything that you had imagined it would be, and it continues to grow and evolve and change. And what are you looking forward to for now and your future?
Well, I am actually looking forward to create, generate, and actualize as much as possible to have a lot of fun with it. And yes, and I've been working so much with getting rid of all the expectations and all the judgments. So now it's more about freedom. And that freedom of dancing through life and having fun with everything. And if something is not fun, okay, thank you for the experience, move on. Yes.
So move on and not dwell in it. Wow.
Exactly, yes.
Wow. And so do you talk to your son?
Yes, I do. And he has been very stubborn with his energy, and showing me like, hey mom, I'm here. And the last time it was when I was facilitating a class in Rome, and this guy came to the class and he said, I don't even know why I'm here. It's like I was pushed to come to this class. And when I asked him what his name was, he said, my name is Evil. And my son's nickname was Evil. And a guy in Italy with the name Evil, that's like 1 in a million. So, so I was like, okay, my son is showing me, hey mom, we never die. We are here. We are here to contribute. We are, you can hear it, you can sense it, and just live, and please know that we never die. Yes.
Wow. And so that has to be, in the book, there's quite a few instances that you talk about how different people have come to you, or different ways that you've received messages from your son. And how has that been for you?
Well, in the beginning, I was not receiving it very well because I was avoiding that kind of contact. So, but then I opened up my perspective more and more and more, and I realized that, as I'm writing in the book, that there is no death, it's just a change. And we can always communicate with our loved ones. It's just that they don't have the same form as they used to have, a physical body. And I also recommend people to, don't think that death is going to change anything in a way where you think, oh, now I'm going to die from the depths that I have or from the problems that I have. No, because that is not going away. You are just changing or shifting form. And so please, if you have some problems in your relationship, try to look at them now and ask questions and create ease with your family, with your friends, and in your relationship. And so that you can have a sense of gratitude for you. And that is the piece that I'm talking about in the book. Yes. Gratitude is the key. Yeah.
Yes. And so choosing to live a life of joy and gratitude and peace, and looking to continue to create and expand and actualize a life that you probably had no idea that you were creating. What has that contributed to your life?
to my life, I mean, I can't even put it in words. I'm living a life now that is totally extraordinary, and I mean, it's so huge. So honestly, I can't even put it in words. And I'm really, really grateful for every second that I'm breathing, and I can see the world with my eyes, and I can smell, and having this beautiful body of mine that is contributing to so many bodies on planet Earth. So I don't make things so significant anymore, as almost not at all as I used to in my life. And my life is so different today, and I'm just grateful for being alive. And every morning I'm like, oh my God, I just received one more day. Thank you.
Wow, what a beautiful way to end this conversation. Thank you so much for coming on today as my guest. You are the power. Choose to create the life you desire. Thank you so much, Vladica.
Thank you so much, Betsy. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.